I welcome you to the first of our webinar series. I would introduce you properly when the webinar officially starts, but this is just to welcome you and introduce you to the internal people we have around.
Thank you. We give warm welcome.
When the webinar officially starts, but this
Hello,
is just
Mr.
to welcome
Safo. So
you
can we start,
and
please?
introduce you to
Okay.
the internal.
Okay. Thank you. So let me just introduce him. Give us all some brief information about our speaker for today, and then we can start the webinar.
Thank you. We give warm welcome.
As I said earlier or a few minutes ago, our speaker for this morning's webinar is Reverend Romaric. Dankwa.
Warm welcome.
He's the Ghanaian Reverend Minister and entrepreneur. So can we start sales and digital business? Okay. He holds a Bachelor of Theology and Master of Science in Theology. Give us all the Emmanuel Bible brief information about our speaker for today, also known as the webinar. Brooklyn, USA.
Thank you. We give warm welcome.
As I said earlier or a few minutes ago, our speaker for this morning's webinar is Reverend Romaric. He's currently the head pastor of Ghanaian Reverend Minister and entrepreneur. So can we start sales and digital business? Okay. He holds a Bachelor of Theology. So let me just introduce him.
Okay, so in our time today, we want to discuss very briefly, we want to talk about who we are, we want to talk about the business model, revenue, and the revenue stream. We will also discuss about symmetrical some of the big companies that we are using every day, we use their products every day, such as Facebook, Google, Uber. What business, what revenue models are they active? I am the lead consultant of Seedway. Seedway is process improvement solution provider. We focus on process consulting, automation solutions, and learning. Online softwares, a lot of online solutions. We have a number of mobile apps that we have developed as a company. You know, we work with very and medium. All right. So, quick question. Are looking at me with a very funny look. But then this is the most important revenue, the most important business skill. The most important business skill is the it is good to understand marketing. It is good to understand accounting. But then none of those is actually the most important business skill. The most important business skill. Okay, so if it is because only few, I didn't know that. Okay, so in our time today, Okay, so in our time today, we want to discuss very briefly, we want to talk about who we are, we want to talk about the business model, revenue, and the revenue stream. We will also, discuss about Symmetrical. So why do so many businesses actually fail on the online space? Because very few companies leaders actually develop the dedication and the drive that is required to apply the most important business skill, and that is some of the big companies that we are using every day. We use their products every day, such as Facebook, Google, Uber. What business, what revenue models to generate revenue of monetization used for online businesses to actually generate their online revenue. So if we want to put it in a very simple way, are they active? I am the lead consultant of Seedway. Seedway is process improvement solution provider. We focus on process consulting, automation solutions, and learning. Online softwares, a lot of online solutions. We have a number of mobile apps that we have developed as a company. Hello? Hello? Yes, can you hear me now?
Hello. Yes, we can hear you now.
Yes, but it was not
we work with very and medium. All right. So quick question. How you collect your money online. That is simply put. Okay, this are looking at me with a very funny look, but then this is the most important revenue, the most important business skill. Concerning the main aspect of a business. For instance, what value will you create as a business? How will you deliver it to your customer? And how will you bring in the revenue? How it is good to understand marketing. It is good to understand accounting. But then none of those is actually the most important, because the revenue stream is just the block, the building block that represents the cash that a company generates from each business skill. The most important business skill, three different right. So the revenue stream is just so generative revenue from each, because only few segments. So there is a difference between the business model that describes how the company today actually generates value in general. And then the revenue model, which describe how a company in our time today, revenue we want to discuss very briefly. That we want to talk about generated from the customer. We want to talk about the business revenue model. Revenue is a very important part stream. The business also. So, for instance, also discuss about Symmetrical. So, why do so many businesses actually fail on the online space? Because very few companies leaders actually develop the dedication and the drive that is required to apply the most important business skill, and that is some of the big companies that we are using. So a very brilliant idea every day, and such as Facebook. During the Google, discussion, my immediate question to them was, what revenue models to generate revenue of monetization used for online businesses to actually generate their online revenue. So if we want to put it in a very simple way, are they active? I am the lead consultant of Seedway. Seedway is process improvement solution provider. Can you hear me? We focus on process consulting.
Yes, we can hear you, but your line keeps breaking.
And learning.
But we can hear you now.
Okay, all right. So online softwares, a lot of online solutions. We have a number of mobile apps that we have developed as a company. Hello? Hello? Yes, can you hear me now?
Hello? Yes, we can hear you now.
Yes, but because
okay. We work with very and medium. All right. So, quick question. How you collect your money online. That is simply put. Okay. Are looking at me with a very funny look. But then this is the most important revenue, the most important business skill. Concerning the main aspect of a business. For instance, what value will you create as a business? How will you deliver it to your customer? And how will you bring in the revenue? How Hello? It is good to understand marketing. It is good to Hello? Can you hear me? Accounting. But then none of those is actually the most important. The revenue stream. Can you hear me now? Just the block, the building block that represents. Hello? Can you hear me now? The cash that a company that a company generates from each.
Yes,
we can hear you now.
Okay, all right, okay. Business skill, the most important business okay, skill. So I'm saying that a revenue stream actually is the building block, which presents the cash the company generates from each customer segment. Okay, and most businesses online they have at least one revenue. So the revenue stream, at least that is the bare minimum that you will have. So the successful business if really successful businesses because have as only many as 5. So there's a difference between revenue stream. But then now there is a difference that between how our time today actually generates value in general, and then the revenue model which describes how does the business time today revenue for companies that value generates value, whilst the revenue models describe how a company generates revenues from the value it has already created for a customer. Right? So the revenue model is very important, a very important part of the business model. And I was sharing an experience that I had last week. I had a discussion with a group of young entrepreneurs coming from South Africa, and they had a very brilliant idea on how to deliver value in the transport, here in Ghana. And we went through the business model, and my immediate question to them was, how are you getting your money? How are you collecting your money? Because you sit in Johannesburg in South Africa and you are delivering or you are solving a problem in Ghana, which is good, but then how are you getting your money? How do we pay you? How does somebody in Accra here in Ghana pay you in South Africa so that you can receive your money? And that was a real eye-opener, because now they have to go back to the drawing board and change basically everything that they had in their business model so that they can be able to collect their money. All right, so there are two things that I want to talk about very quickly. There is the symmetrical and asymmetrical business model. Okay, this is very important. Okay, see, if when you talk about a symmetrical revenue model, the symmetrical revenue model is actually when the user of a business offering is also the customer of okay, thank you. So is when the user of the business offering is also the customers who actually pays for it. This is very important. This is a model that actually has a single-sided flow where the money is coming only from one side. It is very important. Okay, so the offering from the business to the customer and the money from the customer to the business. So that is just one side. For example, now if you look at it, you see that maybe a retailer charges a markup on every good that they sell to the customer, or an agent that charges for every deal made on behalf of the client. Okay, so this is quite simple and direct, where we have only two parties that are involved. That is the business and the customer. So that is the symmetrical revenue model. And then we have the asymmetric revenue model, which is when the users of the business offering, is not the customer who pays for it. This is very important. Now, this usually is a twofold revenue model where it is monetized, where usually you see that the data are monetized and the offering, the users, and the offering that they are doing, or what the users are not the people actually who pay for the company's operation. All right. So, for instance, if you look at Facebook, users on Facebook don't pay for the service they use. Okay, Facebook uses an asymmetric revenue model. So you get on Facebook for free. You don't pay for the services, but the company earns its revenue from advertising, where the data of the user is provided to the advertiser to target ad in a better way. All right, so please, it's very important that we get this. So this brings me to this part of the deal. Who pays the bill? Once we're talking about online business, when we're talking about online revenue, who pays the bill? More than anywhere else, I want you to understand that online, the customer is the king. The customer is really, really, really the king. Okay, because online customers are so important that they drive revenue. Without them, no online business can exist. Okay, so, and very importantly, customers online are able to influence others, by a recommendation to friends or warning them against your services and your product. So online, the customer pays the bill. And as we are talking about it, I want to say it very quickly. There is nothing free online. Absolutely nothing. Nothing is free on the online space. Even when we say it is free for you, the only time when they say it's free for you is when you yourself, you are the product. So I just took the example of Facebook. If Facebook say, come and create an account for free and have your data in here for free and talk with your friends and upload your content for free, the only reason it is done is because you are the product. There is nothing for free online. Nothing is free online. Okay, and they are going to use your data to sell to third parties who will actually pay for their operations. So it is very vital to connect regularly with customers online to check if they are satisfied, to check if they appreciate your offering, your product, and your services. The follow-up is very important, and I prefer doing follow-up with emails. Sometimes also surveys with calls are important. What you think your product will do or what you think your product is will not really matter until you have the feedback from the customer, mostly online, until you have the feedback from the customer. So it makes the customer feel much more special after they have done business with you online, if you take the time to follow up with them and make sure that they are actually satisfied. So let's look at the type of revenue models very, very, very quickly. I want us to look at the type of revenue models. Oh. Please, is it coming now?
Yes, now it is there.
Thank you. Okay, so let's look at the type of revenue, the type of revenue models that we want to discuss today. The first one is ad-supported revenue model. Usually, this is adopted by media houses and information providers, which earn money by including advertisement in the content that they provide. The revenue model is widespread. This revenue model actually is widespread in both offline and online businesses. And company makes money by charging the advertiser, for a small space, and maybe by 1,000 impressions or per click on the advertisement. This is very simple. This is a low-hanging fruit. Anybody can start creating content online today and start, a revenue ad-supported model. Okay, this is quite simple to do. Okay, it's not something difficult, and okay, anybody actually can do that. The second type is the licensing revenue model. Can you still see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, now this one is common among inventors, creators, and intellectual properties owners, which grants a license to use their name, their product, and their services at a predetermined or recurring cost. Okay, so it can be yearly or it can be for a well-determined period of time. All right, so this revenue model is very common among software companies and legally protected intellectual properties like patents, trademarks, copyrights, and owners which grants a limited, the owners actually will grant you a limited time, or sometimes it can be by territory, or it can be according to distribution or the volume, okay, to anyone who actually will fulfill the requirement and pay for it. All right, so we have this a lot. We see this a lot with software companies, who come to the online space and they use this business model a lot. Okay, the next one is the affiliate revenue model. This is a bit similar to the commission model, but the difference here is that a business receives its commission from a seller rather than the customer. All right, so the affiliate model is a contract between a supplier and a promoter. Okay, so this is a promoter can be another business, it can be a media resource, a blogger that will recommend a supplier's product. Okay, so the income will come as a percentage of the sales or the registration done or through a link that you will have, that will be your referral link. Okay, this category of business also includes a lot the meta search engines. Okay, as a unique example, and you can find meta search almost everywhere. The main difference with retailers is that they don't sell the products directly, but they offer comparison and search as a value. Now, there are pros and cons for recurring business models. So if you look at the affiliate revenue model, you find out that the pros is that just like advertisement, once you have a huge traffic resource, you might apply for an affiliate program and start earning money immediately. All right, so they will bring you income without any investment because you basically have the traffic and the leads for the affiliate program provider. Of course, there are limitations to this business to this revenue model, is that the percentage of affiliate program is very, very low. Sometimes it's between 1 and 2%. So you really need a very high volume to be able to generate a significant sale. But you need a high volume so that you can be able to generate a number of sales. So in this segment, you find out that a number of examples like blogging. You find like the events promotion platforms. Okay, you also have a lot of Amazon affiliate websites. Okay, and you have a lot of cloud living. Okay, where you find a lot of affiliates within that. This is good for beginners because they are low-hanging fruit. You don't really have to put up a lot of capital. You don't have to put up a lot of investment upfront. You know, all that you need to run an affiliate model, you need to have good traffic, and you can start earning revenues almost immediately. Right? The next one is the white labeling revenue model. White labeling again is very important because this involves two companies creating one product. This is a very powerful business model, okay? Because I remember back in 2010, I met somebody in Kolkata, and at that time we didn't have, our level of technology was still very low. Okay, so we were just starting out there, and we met with this guy, and they will virtually build a whole product for us. Okay, and the only thing that we will have to do is to put our name on it. Okay, so they were able to take us to a whole new dimension of operation. Okay, because they will build a product that will meet all the international standards for us, and the only thing that we have to do is to tell them a few make a few specification, a few customization here and there according to our market and what we want, you know, and the only thing that we will do is to put our name on it. So this is very powerful, where you don't have to be very tech savvy, you don't have to have all the know-how yourself, and this involves two companies coming together to create one product. Okay, so one company manufactures the product, then the brand repackage the product as their own. Okay, so somebody will manufacture the product, and please, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Please listen very carefully. As you are starting, look for what is already available out there, okay, and find out how you can take advantage of it. It makes no sense to sit up for 3 months trying to build a code that is lying somewhere out there, sometimes even for just a few dollars or even for free. Okay, so it makes absolutely no sense. Okay, so find out what you want to do, investigate the market, find out what is available out there, okay, and how you can take advantage of that. Again, when we talk about white label product, you have to understand that the distribution is wholly controlled by the brand owner. So when you put your brand on it, the entire distribution is wholly controlled by you. You take charge of the entire distribution. What are the pros of such a business model? Okay, the brand would be better prepared to expand their market share through white labeling, because immediately you'll be able to produce large number of products at very low cost sometimes, and sometimes also come up with high quality or meet standards that are far above your current know-how or technical capacity. But the cons of such revenue model is that white labeling requires an existing brand presence. So you don't begin with white labeling. If you don't have already an existing brand presence out there, you don't start by going to Turkey or Dubai and asking somebody to manufacture 20 containers of shirts where you are going to put your name on it and nobody knows you. All right, so white labeling actually requires that you have already an existing brand presence, okay, and an entire strategy, because here the entire strategy hinges on the popularity of the brand. And if the brand is not popular, if nobody knows you, the whole white labeling strategy will be ineffective. Okay. The next model that I want us to look at is the freemium revenue model. This is a marketing tactic where software as a service company offers both a free and a paid version of their products. This is very powerful. Okay, some of the most famous freemium practitioners includes Dropbox, Spotify, Evernote, Candy Crush. Okay, Candy Crush, yes, Candy Crush, that was made by King.com. Yes, by King.com. So Candy Crush started to use freemium business model all the way back in 2012. Okay, which actually turned to be very, very, very successful for them. Very successful for them. Okay, so in this business model, you offer a paid version and a free version. Okay, so it's easy. Once people develop an appetite, when people develop the appetite using your product, people get used to your product, it's easy for them to move from the free version to the paid version. Okay, it is the same thing with a very beautiful piece of software that is called Canva. Canva is for designers, where you can basically design anything that you want. You can find any kind of design that you want. There is a free version of the Canva where you can design the call card and all those things. But then they keep a number of features, you know, only for the paid customer, for the premium. All right, and you find out that this kind of business model, they convert a lot. So the pros are that the brand will be better prepared to expand their market share. Okay. It is easy to get large user base with such a model. A lot of people actually sign on. You get a lot of people, you know, coming on board, okay, because your product is for free. It's for free. And remember, I told you there's nothing free online. It's for free. Okay, so and when you start calling and asking them to come and actually proposing additional features, they will be willing to pay for those features because they've already tested what you've put out there. Okay, so the product is not new to them. When you are starting up a new idea, I believe that is a very, very, very good revenue model. Okay, because your free users can be your future customers, and then these customers can be your source of revenue when they upgrade to a paid version. Okay. And then you, of course, you can also use the free to build brand awareness. Free. That build a lot of brand awareness that later you can leverage for cross sales, you know, and of course upgrades. The cons here is the time. The cons is the time. Okay, resource and money needed to convert free users to pay ones, you know, can quickly deplete your cash. Okay, so your cash can, you know, sometimes it will take time. It will require time. Okay, to convert the visitors and the free users to paid customers. And if you don't do that properly, okay, all your resources and the money can be depleted very, very, very fast. So you need to find the right balance. You need to find the right balance between spending and acquiring the new customers. All right. Okay, so the next model is what we call the subscription-based revenue model. The subscription-based revenue model. The subscription-based revenue model. Okay, here, this is a very great example of recurring revenue strategy. This is actually where the good money is being made online. Okay, it's difficult to have a good subscription base, but if you are able to do that, is where you make a lot of money even when you sleep. All right, so this makes a lot of people successful. This is common among the software as a product, the SaaS, entertainment service, online hosting companies like Netflix, okay, like YouTube, and where they provide the service for a predetermined period of time. Okay. And then the next one, consumption-based revenue. This also is known as pay as you go. Pay as you go. Okay, pay as you go, where it is usage-based pricing. Here, the customer pay no more, no less than what he actually consumed. And in contrast to subscriptions models, the consumption-based pricing is on the fast track becoming the pricing model of choice for many businesses. Okay, because here the customer knows what he consumed and he pays exactly for that. And in contrast to the subscription-based, the subscription, once you have subscribed, either you have used or you didn't, the subscription is running for the predetermined time. But with a consumption-based, you pay for what you consume. Pay for what you consume. Okay, and the pros here is that this enables the business to grow faster with price points that are very attractive to a large customer base. But the cons is that the base price, the consumption-based pricing is self-explanatory. So it lets the users control how much of the service they actually want, and so how much they want to use. Okay, so it can be very tight on you and your bottom line. Okay, because they know exactly, they control the consumption, and they decide when they want to go further or not. The next one is commission-based. Commission-based is commission-based. So with a commission-based, is this is one of the most common ways business make money today. Okay, the commission is a sum of money, the retailer add to the cost of a product or a service. So the commission can be assigned as sometimes a flat rate. Okay, it can be a percentage, or it can be a tied commission. So this is what marketplaces utilize the most. Okay, so the commission may be charged per marketplace or per transactions. Okay, so in this category, you find that businesses connect their service providers or renters with the consumers. So you can have in this category a lot of ride-hailing companies, the food delivery companies, and the accommodation, companies. Here you find out we have companies like Booking.com. Here you find companies like Airbnb. Okay, you find companies here like Uber, Lyft, Ticketmasters, Priceline, Upwork. Okay, you find if you're in Ghana, you find the likes of Jumia, GG. That is the marketplaces that are in our environment, and this is the model. This is the model they are using. The hidden revenue model. The hidden revenue model. I particularly love this very much because the hidden revenue model is a common strategy for companies that are offering free services on their platform. You know, I told you nothing is free. So when you hear free, know that something is hidden somewhere, okay? And that is just what it is. Free online. Know that these guys are using what we call a hidden revenue model. Okay, so the goal is to remove the user out of the revenue generation formula. Okay, and however however you make your revenue through the users, you are charging third parties rather. Okay, so the users. So in other words, the customer do not contribute revenue to the company directly. Okay, so Google, Facebook are among the big brands that are using the hidden revenue model. Okay, so because these tech giants offer their platforms for free, they offer their platforms for free. Okay, so you do not pay a dime to create a profile on Facebook or having an account on Google. Google does not charge you to search your information or videos. Even YouTube, they do not charge you. All right. So what are the pros for this model? Okay, this model actually enhances revenue generation because the company does not actually rely on the customer to earn income. Okay, I remember just about 3 years ago, I was running a lot of adverts on Facebook. And one day we set up a very big ad and we were excited about the amount of money that we were going to put on that campaign. But it was rejected. It was rejected. And believe that this guy would just reject the ad without looking at the amount of money that we are putting on it, and they were not even bothered very much about the amount of money. Okay, they seem to be very more interested about their policies, you know, and the way they run their platform. Okay, because you know, they don't depend really on the users to generate their income. So they can block you at any time, you know, and then that is it. Okay. So again, the pros of this hidden revenue is that it focuses on offering free product and services to its customers and attracting many third parties, you know, paying to access the crowd. So this is what is happening on the social. So as long as they will keep you there, you know, third party will come, you know, to pay to have access to your data, to have access to you and to market whatever they want to market to you. The cons here are that whilst it's a good idea, it puts the company at risk, you know, by relying heavily on third parties than the customers, because the third parties are the one who are bringing the money, not the customers. So at the end of the day, they rely more on the third parties than the customer. Okay, and third parties are paying the bill. Here, third parties are paying the bill. So the company must keep the product and service up to the standard to retain the customer. Okay, that is a a bit heavy. That's a burden that is heavy for the company. Oh, okay. The next one is the Razer and Blade. The Razer and Blade revenue model. The Razer and Blade revenue model is usually for companies that manufacture products or service that go together. Okay, so these are for products and services that go together. So the company usually utilizes this model to decrease the price of one product, which is often the primary product that depends on the other function. Okay, so on the other product, the company make a decent margin to cover the Razer's product, lowest price. Here the pros are, for the customer, the Razer and Blade business model is very beneficial because they don't have to pay high premium on the Razer products, which are generally more expensive. So for instance, this is what the telcos will do. Okay, so they sell the SIM card. Okay, so the SIM card and the data, they go together. So these days you have a SIM card as very, very low as in Ghana, I think is what, 1 cedi, 2 cedis, as low as 2 cedis in Ghana. Okay, but they will make up the money in the data and the credit that you have to charge to be able to use the SIM card. Okay, so this is the Razer and Blade revenue model. Okay, so what are the cons of this? Since the company rely on the Blade product to generate earnings, it can be profitable if competitor. It cannot be very profitable if a competitor takes over the same market. Okay, so because they rely on for instance, if we take the telcos, they rely on the credits, they rely on the data. Okay, so if you sell all your SIM very cheap, and you know that the real money will be made on the credit that they have to buy to load the SIM card. Okay, that's good, but until maybe you have a competitor, a very aggressive competitor who comes to your environment in the same market, that can be a nightmare. Okay, so that's why so many of those companies uses patents or trademark to limit the competition. Okay. However, for established market, when you have an established market, this revenue model, can be very vital. And then we have the donation revenue model. The donation revenue model, this is where you allow this is a revenue model based on an investment by businesses or customer on voluntary basis. The product or the service itself is free to use by default. Okay, so you allow the customer to pay what they want. Okay, and if they even want, so you just allow them to pay what they want. Sometimes $1 or just anything. Okay, but please have in mind that you have to mention that there is a difference between a donation-based business and a charity organization. A donation-based company is still required to pay tax. Okay, so a donation-based revenue model, you will pay tax. It's not a charity organization. The pros here is that because of the free access to the product, some company manage to get increasingly popular. Okay, so for those who write code, you find out that you have open source software. You have things like WordPress. Okay, you have no, I'm talking about those that are free. Okay, so you have the WordPress. You have okay, Jumbo, is that so? Okay, Jumbo. Okay, but then you are free to donate and give what you want. Okay. So the pros here is that because of the free access to the product, those companies become popular very fast, so that the donation become a major part of their revenue. But of course, the cons here also are that as long as this business model is used on its own, the revenue generated by it remains secondary, a source, because it is random, it is unstable, by nature. So you cannot really plan and rely on it. Okay, so you have companies like Wikipedia, okay, you give what you want, okay, ad block, okay, so you just give what you want. Then we have the arbitrage revenue model. Arbitrage revenue model. Arbitrage revenue model. Okay, now this is also a very good business revenue model for beginners. Okay, very good revenue models for beginners. I have done arbitrage for a number of years. Okay, those days when Amazon was just very new, this is very good. But then you need to understand and know what you are doing. Okay, because with this model, this model makes the use of the price difference in two markets of the same goods. Okay, so let me explain. So for instance, if you look at it, Amazon is for mostly or firstly people living in the US who have a lot of disposable income, who has a lot of you have a purchase power which is quite good. Okay, and if you look at AliExpress on the other side, okay, AliExpress is not very much for the same market, but then it is very common to find an item on, just an example, on Amazon that will cost about $5, and find exactly the same item, okay, on AliExpress that will cost about just $1. Okay, so with this business model, what people will do is that you will do your research very well and find out that this item in this marketplace sells for $5. And whilst on AliExpress, the same item will sell for about just $1 or 50 cents. Okay, so you will go and buy from AliExpress and come and sell on Amazon for a very good profit. So it involves buying, an item in one market and then go and sell the same in another market at a higher price and making a profit, and make with that little price difference. Okay. So the next one is the data revenue model. The data sales revenue model. In the data sales revenue model, data is sold directly to a customer or business owner. Okay. While certain companies use data as their primary revenue model, the use of data sales to augment another revenue model is not very ubiquitous, I would say. Okay, because okay, so for instance, you've heard it that data is gold. Data is gold. Okay, so for instance, let me show you what I mean. So a manufacturing company is bringing a new TV to maybe my environment in Ghana. Okay, and then they are going to bring this TV product. Okay, they want to manufacture this TV product for Ghanaians. Okay, at a specific location with a certain number of copies. So let's say they are going to print maybe, let's say, 800,000 copies for that product, or they're going to manufacture, or let's say 8 million copies for that product. Okay, that's a lot. Okay, so but they want to make sure that they know what they need, or as part of their R&D. They need to know what the people of my environment they need. So mostly the social companies, they will ask them a number of questions, and then they will find the kind of, they will determine exactly the segment that they are looking at, the profile of the people that they are looking at, and then they are going to run through their conversation on those social platforms for a certain period of time and find out that the kind of words and their synonyms that they are using most. So for instance, you will find out that maybe in our environment, words that are used most are words like maybe curved, just an example, or maybe a word like sleek, just an example. So you see, these are the data that they are going to buy to, they are going to sell to those R&D organizations. So when those companies are doing the manufacturing for my environment or our environment, okay, they are going to bring maybe a TV that is curved, okay, that is curved, or they are going to manufacture a car for our environment that is sleek. All right. So when you look at the TV that is curved, as if it is coming straight from your head, okay, and you wonder how did they manage to do that? Okay, so they want to make sure that they get in your head and get exactly what you want and bring it to you. Okay, so this way data is very, very important. It's very, very important. And that's big business. That's very big business. Okay. The next one is transactional revenue model. Transactional revenue model. This is a model in a classic way where business can earn money. Here the revenue is generated, directly by selling an item or a service to a customer. Okay, so the customer can be another business. So in that time we talk about B2B, or it can simply be a customer where we talk about B2C. Okay, and the price or the service here constitutes the production cost and the margin. So you can increase the margins. Increasing the margin, the business will be able to generate more income from the sale. But increasing the margin, okay, that's another topic. Okay, and then the next one is rent or lease revenue model. The rent and the lease revenue model is common where a physical asset is involved. Okay, so here the revenue earning strategy involves the recurring rent or one-time lease, payment for the temporary use of the assets. Of course, we have the borrowing, we have the borrow and lending revenue model. Okay, this is very interesting for banks and savings and loan. That's an interest-based revenue strategy or an investment-based revenue strategy, for mainly banks and savings and loans. Okay, banks usually generate revenue in the form of interest on their offerings, mostly the loans. So this is the revenue here is generated by making a loan to a customer, okay, or by a customer depositing or investing money, okay, with the business. At the end of the return period, a percentage of the loan will return as revenue. Okay, what are the pros and the cons of this? The interest rate here provides a clear view on what revenue a business will generate. Okay, as the percentage stay unchanged during until the return period is over. And of course, the cons here is that the regulation of an interest rate, both for the customer and the business, sometimes depend on the economic environment. And with what is happening now with the dollar and the currency rate changes, that's a big risk, a potential risk, to customers, and the existing borrower himself. Okay. And then the next one is product is free, but service aren't. This is a business model that offers both complementary and extra cost services to users. Okay, it is very employed by many internet firms. Okay, so many companies use this model, like Shopify, yes, Dropbox, Hinge, Slack. Many companies use this model. Okay, and then we have the direct revenue model. The direct revenue model. So while direct revenue model consider the audience as their source of revenue, the direct revenue model here is different from the traditional retail, where products are sold to distributors and stores before they get to the customer. Okay, so the direct business model here aims to cut off the middleman, okay, and benefit from higher margins, benefit from the higher margin and with a more personal relationship with the customer. That's right. Okay, so this business model, take away the middleman, and rather they want to build a personal relationship, and deal directly with the end user of their products. And here you have all the direct sales or network marketing and other things that comes in. Okay, but the pros here is that besides developing a sense of loyalty from the customer towards the brand, okay, it also helps understand and adapt to the customer needs and preferences. Okay, the cons here is, since businesses generally experience high level of turnover, mostly with direct sales and high and network marketing, the entrepreneurs here have to spend money and time recruiting and retraining, talent. And then the indirect model, which is the opposite of the direct model. Whilst direct model revenue consider the audience as their source of income, indirect revenue models differentiate between users and customers. So it means that here the consumer, the audience consume the content freely, and the content business generate revenue through third parties. Okay, so that is just like selling advertising space, collecting user information, and or sponsorship. Okay, sponsorship. And then hybrid revenue models. The hybrid revenue models, there are many revenue models. The hybrid revenue models simply give you the opportunity to mix 2 or 3 revenue models together. Most companies that you see online don't use only one revenue model, so they take 2 or 3 different models and combine them together to fit, their offering to better serve their markets. And then you have The markup model. Markup is the most common and oldest revenue model seen among the businesses. It involves setting up the selling price of the goods by adding profits and overhead charges to its cost price. So this revenue model is common among retailers, wholesalers. Is basically what we do most here in Ghana, where you buy and then you add your margins to it. So you buy from a manufacturer and add your margins to it. You buy from a retailer, you add your margins to it. So it's basically one of the oldest revenue models. Okay, this revenue model you find a lot of retailers doing that, the wholesalers doing that, and even the middlemen. You find a lot of middlemen here, and they buy the product from the manufacturers and other parties before selling it to others. Actually, guys, listen, here in Accra, we have a very big market where it is easy if you don't understand our place in the culture. It's easy in our big market in Accra, okay, for you to buy something sometimes twice the real price, because what they do is that they go to a shop, buy from the shop, and sit right in front of the shop and resell. And sometimes they will sell it twice the price than what is sold inside the shop, and they will just set themselves right in front of the shop, okay, and call everybody who is passing by. Okay, so that is the markup. That is the markup model. Finally, so how do you choose a revenue model for your business? How do you choose a revenue model for your business? Before choosing a revenue model, you need to fully develop a business strategy. Okay, that will include a prepared business model with all its key instances. Okay, so I mean that you must take a few steps before you select, the revenue model that you are going to put out there. There are a few steps that you need to consider before you actually do that. Okay, so you need to define your value proposition. Okay, define what your product is, what value it brings to the customer. Okay, very important. Know what exactly your product is, and then what value it brings to the customer. Okay, not all product can be sold. Mostly online, not all products can be sold. Okay, so sometimes, as I said, some of them has to go through a freemium revenue model. Okay. And again, remember, when you upgrade your WinRAR to a full license, it's not just everything that online can be sold. Okay. The second thing that you need to do, you need to explore the market state and the customer group. Okay. This is very important because know what is available in the market and understand the various group of customers that you are going to serve. Some markets are inclined to purchase just one product. Okay. Some market will totally ignore any upgrades that you will make to your product. And even there are other markets that any in-app purchase will be frowned at. Okay, so you need to know exactly. You need to know exactly what those details are. Okay, and of course, look at your competitors. Look at what they are doing, mostly online, and look at their products. Okay, you will need to learn. Try to find out the mechanism that they have in place, and try to analyze and see the revenue stream that they use and how they manage their costs. And if you do that, you will see where are the pitfalls, you will see what you should avoid, and then you will see, very importantly, what you need to do. Okay, so this is a critical business skill. If you develop the ability to generate revenue online, you will be valuable to any organization. If you understand the various online revenue models and how to apply them where it works, and what you should do and what you shouldn't do, you will even start generating revenue before you work for somebody, or before you finish with your education, which is very, very important. So again, I want to say that you should take this very, very seriously. We will share the slides with 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 inGenius, with you guys, so that you can have all that in details. Again, because of the time, we didn't go very much into details, but then I hope that this was informative, and then you've got something new. The bottom line is the money. How do you get your money? If you are able to get your money, if you know how to get your money quick, easily, and get it again and again and again, there is virtually no business problem that you will not be able to solve. So thank you very much. If there is any question, we will quickly look at it, and then hello? So if there is any question, we will take one or two questions. Yeah. Hello? Okay, so thank you very much, guys. And then
Thank you so much, Mr. Ababio.
thank you.
For the insightful presentation. We are very
Thank
grateful.
you. All right. Okay, thank you, guys. Have a good day. And then